Hello and welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa, he is Sascha Segan, and we've got a great show for you today. We're going to break down the top tech news of the day, show you one cool thing from the lab, and answer some of your reader questions. Let's start off with the big news of the day. There are some actually legitimate iWatch rumors out there, breaking on Reuters, breaking on Wall Street Journal. We're talking about a 2.5-inch display, which is much bigger than most of the iWatches on the market. And
it's not just a 2.5-inch display. I mean, we're hearing that there might be multiple sizes, multiple displays. And when they say 2.5 inches, what a lot of us are speculating right now is it's not going to be a square. It may be long and narrow, like the Samsung Galaxy Fit. Like, think an iCuff instead of an iBlock.
Wireless charging, up to 10 sensors, and Apple's really, it seems like they're making a commitment to make this more than just a phone accessory, to really make it operate on its own as its own device. You probably need an iPhone to make it work, but it's going to add new functionality and new features.
Well, it's going to tie very tightly into the HealthKit software that was included in iOS 8, which is all about health and personal activity monitoring. And now the watch, I do think it is going to require an iPhone, because it's going to have all the sensors in it, but then it's just going to transmit the data to the iPhone, and HealthKit in the iPhone is what's going to make the data make sense.
Yep, I think I totally agree with you. And they're talking about, so we think we've identified the manufacturer, Quanta in Taiwan. It's going to go into mass manufacturing in July and then ship in October, just in time for the holiday season.
Yeah, and so I still think we're going to see an iPhone event in September, and then now it sounds like it's going to be maybe iPad and iWatch in October. But there are going to be, so far, as I know, and these aren't final plans, and I don't have inside knowledge, but I still think there are going to be September and October Apple events.
Finally, the news from BlackBerry. BlackBerry actually has some good news to share. It's been a long time. BlackBerry is not dead yet. They've actually made $23 million in profit in this quarter, but the story is still not entirely positive.
Yeah, okay. I think, now, first of all, that $23 million profit is kind of smoke and mirrors. There was a financial analyst on Twitter who broke it down, and what did he find again, the numbers there?
Yeah, he said they burned about $255 million, and the gains came from a $397 tax refund. So that's, I mean, money's money, but...
Yeah, and from selling some of their offices and properties. So these are one-time fixes to keep BlackBerry alive. But they say they sold 2.6 million phones this quarter, and they showed off the phones that they're going to release later this year. And one of them is very strange and puzzling, and this is the BlackBerry Passport. The BlackBerry Passport is a phablet with a physical keyboard. It has a 4.5-inch square 1440 by 1440 screen with a big QWERTY keyboard under it. So it's a two-handed device. It has a physical keyboard. I've never seen anything like this.
I think they're really, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this strategy because they're doubling down on what they're good at. People like Blackberries because of the keyboard, so they're putting a keyboard on everything that they can. They're playing to their strength. I just think that the keyboard age may have passed us by, and that even older users, I was a big keyboard fan while they were still available. I think even older users are now getting used to the touchscreens, and I don't know they're going to pay a premium for that physical keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, and financially, the question is, are they going to be able to come up with enough of these one-time fixes to keep the company rolling while they try to solve their phone sales problems?
Finally, Match.com is changing up. They're a very popular matchmaking service. They're now offering a new service which will match you up with people who look like your ex. You upload your ex's photos, maybe even multiple exes, and they will run image analysis to find other people who look like the person you used to care about.
So it could be like a composite of all of your exes, like the Uber ex.
But and this service is going to cost $5,000 to match you with the object of your past affections. That seems like a lot of money.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, why does this cost $5,000? And then I realize they are probably using a good chunk of the $5,000 to bribe the people who look like your ex into going out with you, right?
It makes no sense to me. Like, I understand people have a type, and that's what the profiles are all for, but to go with somebody, would you want to meet somebody and say, oh, I'm with you because you remind me of everybody else I've already been with?
Yeah, and also, like, I have not been single for a long time, but I actually met my wife through online dating. And, I'd sit there and I'd scroll through profiles and look at pictures, and isn't that part of the fun?
It should be part of the fun, but the service is going to launch on June 28th. We'll see if anybody in PCMag offices want to take it out for a test run. Now let's move on to a reader question. We answer reader questions on Facebook, on Twitter, via email, in the YouTube comment section. This question actually came in on YouTube. Charles wants to know, what's the deal with Net 10 using Verizon's towers, but being able to charge less than Verizon every month?
Yeah, Net 10 does use Verizon's towers, and don't worry, Verizon is making money on this, and Verizon doesn't feel like this is stealing away Verizon customers. Verizon doesn't do a lot of prepaid business. They don't find that segment very profitable for them, so they essentially outsource their prepaid to mostly TracFone, which is the owner of Net 10, and so it gets more people onto Verizon's network that would not otherwise be subscribing to Verizon. These might otherwise be, you know, T-Mobile or Sprint or, you know, former Metro PCS or Cricket subscribers. If you look at Net 10's plans, there are some asterisks in the fine print. For instance, they say unlimited. The data is never really unlimited. You don't have the sort of big bucket family data plans that you do with Verizon. You don't get subsidized phones. You don't get your $99 iPhone. But as a prepaid deal using Verizon's network, yeah, I mean, it looks like a really good deal for talk and text and a light amount of data, not for heavy data users. So definitely look into it.
Let's move on to one cool thing. Every year we test thousands of products here in our lab in New York City. Every day we take one thing off the shelf and show it to you live on air. Today, that thing
has been in my pocket this whole time.
Indeed, it is the custom USB's Gigs to Go. And this is actually a really cool product. Everybody's got USB keys that they're handing out. These are biodegradable USB keys. Obviously not the entire thing, but most of them. You can pull them out, you can give them out on press kits, and they're made of composite plastic.
Can I snap this off?
You can take one out, yeah.
There we go.
So very cool USB standard. We've got a full review up on PCMag.com. 1 gig, not going to blow it away, but disposable.
Yeah, and $26 for 4. So they're relatively affordable. And like, I mean, I see these, you know, I see these for bands, you know, selling their music on these little things. I see these for people and companies doing promotional stuff. It's just a you know, great little device.
And that's been PCMag Live for today. Tune in next week. We'll have a brand new show for you. Thanks for joining us.